And now, our feature presentation.
Welcome to this podcast. I'm Tyler.
I'm not giving my name.
Oh, okay. Well, that's Sean.
Redacted joining us. I'm Wilson.
Also Tyler.
Yay!
Hey.
We got
Two
TK,
for the price of one.
Double T's here.
And we're playing Poker Night at the Inventory 2 just for
Our
background
visuals.
pretty much.
Yeah.
So
But we're just
don't
gonna
be too
sit
worried
and
about it. But we will probably
shoot the breeze.
chime in on it. From
I've
time to
always
time.
hated Claptrap.
Oh, speaking of which, chiming in, I'm already Okay, this is fantastic.
You going somewhere with that?
Yes.
Yeah, you
look.
got the start of a straight
Look
flush.
at look. Oh my God, this is great. I was dealt a 7-5, which suited A within the span for a straight B. I'm already set up,
Straight
and then
flush
I've got
draw.
the 2-4. Come on now. So if I get one more heart, I've got a flush.
You just gotta bait him in.
Oh,
Get
booyah.
the table real high.
You're a beta
Well,
man.
Well, what's interesting about this game is that they are supposed to have their own personalities and tells to them.
What does Brock do?
It's
Kills
really,
you.
really hard to tell, actually. I looked it up, and I never would have been able to tell on my own.
What is
It's just things like they do this one very specific little tick when they have a hand that they think is good. But I just know, how they react to what you bet and what it usually means when they're betting. Nobody's bet anything yet, so I'm going to throw in a little bit here.
Why don't you like Claptrap?
I don't know. I've just never liked him. He just seems like a character that's trying too hard to be the funny mascot to me.
I kind of get that too.
I only like him in this because it's more self-aware humor than trying to be
Right.
forced funny or anything. It's just I'm a robot in a game about shooting people and you're a talking dog. What's that about?
Hey, you got the straight.
No, he's one short.
Gladys, get out of
yeah,
here.
you
What
are.
are you
You need that tree.
But still,
But yeah,
Looking at everybody's
I don't
cards.
know. First time I
Sam's
played
the only one
Borderlands,
that
it just
stayed in,
put
so-
a bad taste in my mouth. And was like, oh, look at the wacky robot. Isn't he funny, kids?
yeah, definitely.
Didn't we play that game, Borderlands 2, together?
Probably.
Maybe that was Steve.
Played a lot of
I
that.
played, yeah, same here.
Actually, I think I played with Rob too.
I mean, it's
a
a
lot
fun
of
game.
different-
I just hate Claptrap.
Yeah.
I haven't played it in a while. I think I should probably play it again.
Well,
He checked.
yep.
So
He checked. I'm gonna just.
Up that ante.
Yep.
Are we gonna be out of the game right away?
Nope. He's gonna fold. Yep.
Oh, come on, Sam.
But I just got a pot worth 31,000, so I'm perfectly happy with that.
True. That's pretty good.
I'm not big into poker or anything. The only time I ever gained any interest is when I lived with my cousin and he had friends over. He went bowling twice a week, and usually friends went with because there was a thing that happened where the bowling alley gave out raffle tickets for the thing that happened every week, and then you could take those tickets to the bar across the street for free drinks. So usually his friends would go bowling with us, and it would be a whole thing. And then before we would go out to the bowling alley, we'd usually just sit around and play poker and bullshit.
I played poker on Red Dead Redemption.
Yes. Oh, I enjoy the hell out of
Because you
that.
could cheat.
Yep.
And that was a fun little meta.
I didn't learn
The
how
game
to
is
play.
never this generous. I don't know what's going on right now.
We gotta. I mean, yeah.
I didn't learn how to
Sitting
play
alright.
poker until
Sitting all right? I got
Mario
King right now.
64
Yeah,
DS
it's not bad.
came out.
Oh, really? Oh,
There
yeah,
was
Luigi
there was a
played the
group of
minigames,
guys
right?
during
Yep, the Luigi
high school
Casino
that,
mini games.
I think probably once a week or once every other week, it was always playing poker for 3 hours, and it was high school, so it was quarters and shit. But I mean, man, there's a lot of money that moved around just off of quarters.
Yeah, no
'cause
kidding.
all those guys were way better at gambling. So that
Okay.
that never turned out well in my favor.
I didn't think we'd be talking about the game this much, but there's actually like a lot of really interesting stuff happening this run. So I've got the king 2. I bet like 2,500. Everybody else folded except for Ash, who went all in, just right off the bat. After my first bet, he's like, "Okay, I'm all in."
He's a bluffing.
So
He's got to be bluffing.
I've got already a pair of kings. He's got at the very most
Possible straight.
well
You could have,
straight.
yeah, you could have like a Jack 10. And then if you got a...
He could be sitting on a Jack 10, yeah, but that's more unlikely to me than him having two kings in his hand.
This Jack 10.
Well, call him and find out. You still have like 9,000 left.
Exactly.
Or 11,000.
The way that these guys bet is, see,
But he
like,
still has
still
you
high.
because he
oh,
has
I know,
the 2.
he's got the higher card, but like, I knew that he wouldn't be sitting on anything more than just a king.
Oh, no dice.
You guys both got 2 pair.
Yep. Went to him.
There's still one chance, one
Oh,
shot.
boy. What?
Yeah.
That's
Oh, well.
him.
Who's your daddy?
Yeah, these guys are
That's
really
good.
weird because like sometimes they will just kind of play normally, like they'll make reasonable bets and stuff, but then you'll go in for like 1,000 and they'll be
Oh,
like,
did you guys-
"All in, motherfucker!" And that happens so like way more than you think. A 5 king again? God damn.
Okay, so it looks like you guys ended up splitting the pot there. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, you're both
guys-
pretty up
you
on
just-
the
I had more money than he did, and I called everything that he had, so we had to split it. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, you
Get
I
your
think you
feet
went out
off
in the
there,
end,
Sam.
but-
Look at those big ass dog feet. Oh, the reason crap trap. I almost said that.
He is a crap
Claptrap looks like that is.
He is a crap trap.
There's these different characters from these different properties sitting around the table, and the more games that you win, you not only accrue like the fake money that they're playing with, but you get like unlock tokens, and you can change at any time. You can change the style of the chips, the cards, and the felt on the table for the theme of each different like property.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
And then since GLaDOS is the dealer, there's a portal theme too. But my favorite is
Oh, yeah.
Venture Brothers.
There you go.
Because when you do the full set of each one, it also changes the room that they're playing in.
Okay.
And
Does that help your head?
yep,
Nice.
it changes what Brock's wearing. Like it changes one thing.
His leisure
about-
outfit.
Well,
about what the-
Claptrap also kind of changed his outfit a little bit.
Yeah, like yeah.
That's
exactly.
probably his default one, I'm guessing.
Yeah, that's just default Claptrap.
Yeah.
right
So
there.
because you were using the portal stuff.
He
before,
looked like a
right?
turret.
Yeah, he looked like a turret.
Or yeah.
And when, like, depending on which theme you have, like when it's Army of Darkness themed, everything's like spooky fog and there's like gravestones in the back and stuff. And when people bust out of the game, like for the Army of Darkness one, for example, the Necronomicon is sitting on the because if just to the right of where the camera's looking is Max, the little bunny from Sam and Max.
Yep.
He's just sitting in a booth, and he starts reading out of the Necronomicon, and it somehow causes somebody to like leave the table in a certain way. So there'll be a certain thing that happens that is Venture Brothers themed that'll happen when somebody busts out, and it's just like those fun little things when you're playing poker.
Nice.
And they all have cool personalities. I like all these guys.
Yeah, and they
Claptrap.
Fuck
got like
Claptrap.
Patrick Warburton to play Brock and whoever they have to play the off-brand.
It sounds like
Bruce
It
Campbell.
sounds like Sam.
It is
does.
Sam. It's Sam and Max, and it's the voice actor for Claptrap, but it's whoever they have that plays Ash Williams outside of Bruce Campbell for like the games and
Right.
you know.
Ooh.
Ooh, and he's all in.
Keep going.
Let's do it.
Ooh.
Ooh,
I think he's got you.
Yeah,
god
it was-
damn. Yeah, he's got the straight.
He's gonna punch you too.
It would literally take.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would take like.
He actually, yeah.
Yeah,
so
his is straight
he,
and
he,
the
ac-
flush.
he actually had the
Whoa.
flush. Well, he didn't have the. I mean, the flush that he got was better than the straight that he had.
Yeah, but I mean, regardless,
But
ace 2, 3, 4, 5, and suited. Oh.
Oh, baby, a triple.
Oh, baby, a triple queen.
What's her name again? The Queen?
Molotov
Molotov
cocktails.
cocktails.
Molotov.
Yep.
It's been so long since there's new episodes, I've almost forgotten.
Oh, baby.
But their last one was really good. The Avengers one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know.
Are you guys excited for Avengers?
Yeah.
Whatever, Infinity
It's
people?
it's just gonna be like I can't wait to see the reaction of other people to this movie, because I don't think they're expecting it to be set like the end of this movie is gonna be for a Marvel movie is gonna be dark. It's gonna leave off on a note of like, oh shit,
It's like when Gandalf dies in the Fellowship.
or it's like
It's
it's
sad.
like the entirety of Empire, where everything is not going the
Everything's
way
going-
that you expect it
Yep.
to.
Luke just gets
Downhill
his ass
the
handed to
whole
him.
way.
Yeah, and people are gonna like come out of this movie and just be like broken because of something that will happen, and I just can't
Do you
wait
think
to
Disney
see like
will go that far and like kill off
Yeah,
major?
Yeah, they already guaranteed.
There's-
Do you
there's
think they're
certain
gonna kill
actors-
off minors first, or do you think they'll go straight to a major?
well,
I think
Rumor is
they already like ixnayed the Hawkeye. Like he's not even in it.
Yes, he
for
is.
promotional stuff. He's
Well, he's not
not
in
in
promotions, but you do
he's not
you do
in the
see
promotional
him.
stuff. But
Well,
he's,
you do see. Well, no, not Hawkeye. No, I'm
he's
sorry.
in. They've said he's in the movie, and they're keeping him out of the promotional stuff for a very specific reason. That his role in the movie, they're trying to keep that separate from what they're promoting the movie as, because it's something that they don't want to reveal. That and he might be appearing as a different version of not Hawkeye, but his other character Ronin. And same thing with Captain America. He's not Captain America in this movie. He's Nomad. He's like put down that mantle, and he's just more about like fuck like standing for just America. I'm about like the goddamn like protecting the world, like you know.
So do you think that major people are gonna die?
At some point in this series of 3, maybe 4 movies, yes, absolutely.
Who do you want to die? Who do you think would make
Who do I want to die?
a lasting impact?
Okay, those are 2 different questions.
Like, who do you think would make the biggest impact if they died?
Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, and I hope that's what happens.
He is finishing his contract with these movies, so at some point, I am very much under the belief that he's going to die, either through sacrifice or not.
I think it would be great. It would be a good thing, because then somebody else
God.
can take up the mantle of Iron Man.
Well, and then it's all
Somebody else.
Well, it's going to more than anything probably harken back to in Age of Ultron when he had that like vision of everybody else being dead.
Oh yeah.
It could be instead that he, like trying to prevent that is like sacrifices himself some way.
Well, Captain America is probably also on the chopping block because Chris Evans has been vocal and has said like, yes, I'm done after this. I'm done. So there's a very good chance that he could die too, in a symbolic like gesture. But the thing about this whole movie and this whole like sequence of things is, for this movie, there's been rumors that there will be time travel.
People think that
And that we will see them go
Doctor
back
Strange is like
and visit past Marvel movies to either correct mistakes or like influence events.
if they go back to like Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer.
No, not like that.
That'd be
Like
so fucking
in the
cool.
Marvel Cinematic Universe.
The Disney Marvels.
Well, I just hope Silver Surfer shows up to like save the day at the very end of the second part of this.
Sadly, he won't.
I think it would be great though.
It
Isn't
would be.
Silver
It would be. It
Surfer
would be
still owned by,
fantastic
like,
to see.
Fox or something?
I really hope,
Silver
dude.
Surfer?
Yeah, the
You know,
movie
I'm
rights?
hoping that at some point we get just an establishing shot of like skyline or like helicopter over suburban-ish like upstate New York, and it says like something like upstate like Manhattan or something like that, and it's like all of a sudden we're at the X-Men and it's like, oh shit. Some moment like that where there's a character that we just, or like something we just don't expect, even in left field, like regardless of
Yeah,
what
that's
could
what
be in this movie.
That's what I'm thinking. They should do that with Silver Surfer and like have the new enemy Galactus come down.
They should have something, but they're not going to do that.
They're probably not. They're gonna play it safe and kill off Vision, Scarlet Witch.
Vision's
Hawkeye.
not going to die. No.
They're probably gonna kill off a lot of miners.
Well, what is going to end up happening at the culmination of this whole thing is that they're going to move into phase 4 where they can continue to tell a few more stories, and then at a certain point, they have put down the foundations of, hey, there's a multiverse, and also we can just reset everything and cast all new characters, tell the same stories about these characters, and just have new actors, new like stuff, and you guys will buy it.
Well, I hope the way how I hope they defeat
Why did you call
Thanos
that?
is basically him defeating himself, like when he went after the
Not
Tesseract.
really paying too much attention.
And it's just
I'm
like,
doing
oops,
I'm
I
just
dropped
doing
it.
for shits and
And
giggles.
that's how the day
Just being
got
a
saved.
bumbling idiot.
Yeah, he just fucks up.
There was a cartoon that somebody posted I saw where it was gonna be their like the Disneyfied version of it, like how they Disneyfied Star Wars, where it's women triumphing now. So like Scarlet Witch and Black Widow just punch him in the dick, and he's like, "I give up," and he walks away. I'm going home. I love death.
Yeah, honestly though, like in the end, I don't give a shit what happens.
Same here.
I have
couldn't
no
care less.
investment,
I want
like-
this series to be done now.
I just I am ready to
It's
watch the
exhausting.
spectacle happen and ready for them to move on to a different like change tracks.
Ooh, Sam's going all in.
Start tell. You know what I really want? I want somebody to have the balls to just go like. Yes, we've had animated stuff about like Ninja Batman, which I haven't seen, but it's out, which I really do want to see. Or like just all these different like really unique stories that you'd never get the opportunity to see a visual telling other than a comic book.
Like the really interesting one-offs.
Yeah, like they've done Red Sun and stuff like that, and like seeing a, I want somebody to be like, all right, we're gonna do the comic book adaptation of Invincible, or we're gonna do Fables, or we're gonna do this really specific story to this one character that is like famous for being very good, and we're gonna adapt this story and not just like tell our own little like, oh, isn't it fun? He's gonna fight an evil version of himself at the end, and then he's gonna be ready to go for the next movie, or like
It's
have
kind
something
It's
that's
kind of odd that I just thought about this, that the DC universe is doing really well on television
yeah.
compared to the Marvel universe, but the Marvel is dominating the box office.
It's kind of always been that way.
But it's
Well,
so
it's
bizarre.
because they're letting their creators for the
Even going back to
TV
60s
stuff
Batman.
on
Yeah.
the WB side, they're letting their TV creators like actually do what they need to do to make a good creative product instead of it being like a thing of committee and a thing of corporate people sitting in Warner Brothers and being like, well, it needs to appeal to everybody and we need to have it be, you know, X, Y, and Z so that it fits this equation for our marketing, for our advertising, for everything that we know that we're going to have to incorporate. And they're, so like,
That's just the cancer of Hollywood, though.
here's an example. Like the Flash TV show, it's not a great TV show. It's good. I enjoy watching it because the comic book side of me, like the 13-year-old in me, when I see the name of a title of the episode is Gorilla Grodd, and then in the episode they go all out and they fully depict. They don't hide. They don't try to hide it with nighttime or anything like that. They full out fucking show a 9-foot telepathic gorilla getting punched by a man with super speed, and the like little kid in me is just like, yeah, I'm okay with this. Like I can handle the soap opera-y teen like drama kind of stuff just to watch that kind of stuff happen.
I
Like,
can't anymore.
well, it's better than like
I got to like the Savitar season, and after I finished that, I was
it's
like,
that is, I will give you, that is a rough season.
Yeah.
Like the drama in that is really.
yep.
The season
What was
after
the-
that
what
is
was the
good though.
worst part of that season.
The worst
But-
part of that season.
Like,
I-
do you remember just
the
being
main-
like, I'm done?
The main plot.
That's pretty much what I was. Yeah, the main plot. I just couldn't get into it.
Because
It's just like
that the crux of that
You're
season
watching
is that
teenagers?
like
yeah.
Barry's
Wow.
girlfriend / fiance, they find out that at a certain point they know she's going to die in this certain way at this certain time. So the entire season then revolves around how are we going to stop this? And the number of times in one episode that there's like an interaction of like this character who's going to die with anybody else in the show of like, oh man, it sucks that you're gonna die and that we have to do something about this. I really hope we can do something about this. And everybody is just so fucking like, yeah, I get it. Like, we don't want this character to die, but you can say it like a little bit less and we'll still get the message that it's important, because it literally just becomes like, Iris is gonna die. Iris died. Like, Iris, my daughter.
We gotta save Iris.
Oh, shut up. Honestly, though, the current season, the one that's right after that, is a lot better because they got feedback about how people felt about exactly what we're talking about, and they're
Should
like,
we care about Iris anyway?
Well, that's kind of what happened
Okay.
with me.
but we shouldn't care about the
Arrow.
villain.
I quit watching Arrow because of the soap opera stuff too. And that
Arrow-
got real
Arrow
bad
got-
after what is it? Deathstrokes.
Yeah, that was a great season.
That was a great season. Then the next season is just fucking All My Children.
Sure.
Like,
Yeah.
All My Children with like spandex and domino masks.
We have in this new season of The Flash, the elongated man has joined the team, and that's a good little bit of levity and like different stuff that you don't usually see because they're like in the first episode that he's in as really the person with those powers, he like is figuring out what really he can do. And this guy is getting away in a helicopter, and Barry's like, "Well, shit, I can't. There's no building that I can like run up and like get to him and like run up and get to that helicopter in time. I need you to like figure something out and do something." So he's like, "Okay," and then he just like looks up at the helicopter and throws his stretchy arm out and grabs it, and the Flash is like, "Cool," and just runs up his arm to the helicopter. It's awesome, like that kind of stuff where it's like, yeah, that would happen in the comic book. That would probably happen.
I think, I don't know, one thing that just made my heart sink for the DC universe, or expanding universe, the cinematic one, was when they hired Joss Whedon to do Justice League after getting rid of Zack Snyder. I can understand why they got rid of Snyder, but to replace him with Joss Whedon, it's just like, god damn.
Let's have that family. Huh? How about that family in Justice League? Just random family.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Justice League was
Russian family? What were they?
I don't know.
weird.
I haven't
Yeah,
even
it was
seen
like-
Justice League yet because I can't.
Can't.
I can't. I've
We all
seen
went
a
to
few
it.
scenes from it, and I was just like,
It was weird.
this isn't DC.
When you like really think about it, it's just like
Flash was cool.
there was
I like the Flash.
Yeah.
there was some God, but why?
Well, it just-
Why would they do that?
Like Joss Whedon, he did Age of Ultron, right?
No,
No,
he did the first one.
he did the first one.
Yeah,
That's
first
right,
Avengers.
yeah. That's I don't know. It felt like a Marvel movie with the
I think
DC
he might
skin
have done
on
the
it,
second
and
one
I just
too. Yeah,
didn't.
I don't
dig
think he
it.
directed the second one. But,
Was it
And I'm
Avengers
not a
Age
big
of
fan of
Ultron?
Joss Whedon either.
He might have done that one. I think he got burnt out, and then he's like, I'm not gonna do this.
Well, he got a.
Is he doing Black Widow too?
What happened to Joss Whedon was like.
I don't know if they're actually doing a Black Widow movie.
Oh,
I think
really?
there's been talk about it, but I don't know if
that's
they are.
the next one they want to do.
Well, and it's sad too because by now it's gonna feel like an afternote. There's been no female-led Marvel movie by this point, until Captain Marvel comes out,
Oh yeah,
which is
the first
like
one.
next next year, I think.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's one of the next ones to come out.
Yeah.
Other than
The very next one to come out is obviously Avengers, but then like the next solo movie is Ant-Man and the Wasp, which should be kind of fun.
is Ant-Man gonna be in the Avengers?
Yeah, they're also like he's been in the posters where he's so small on the poster that it's basically just like
I love when they did that ant advertising.
yeah.
Like those
Oh, yeah.
marketing schemes where they just put ant-sized billboards down on the street.
Yeah,
I thought that was
that's
so cute.
pretty
Or
impressive.
they like put a fire hydrant down that was like tilted to the side, and when you look close at it, it's Ant-Man punching the guy.
Yeah, or
That
like
was cool.
people like, like cracks in the wall. It's like him punching the wall or something
Yep.
like that.
And
That was a clever campaign.
Yeah.
yeah, he'll be in Infinity War.
Nice.
Well, then I guess the question, going back to the female lead thing, would be if you could have one come out like in the next year or two, what would it be?
For Marvel,
Yeah, I already said
Yeah,
it.
oh yeah, Marvel.
Okay, it would be my first answer is She-Hulk. Because right off the top of my head, I know that that's a female character that I like. Really like her dynamic. Like, honestly, most of it would probably be her in a courtroom, and there would be very, comparatively to other superhero movies, there wouldn't be as much punching. There would probably be some punching.
Well,
When like at the
She-Hulk.
very end, like she wins the trial and stuff, and they're taking him to lock up and whatever, and he just like busts out, and then she's like, "Well, gotta go punch something." But that character being able to be like in that Hulk state, but still have this personality to her and this charm, and like still have her intelligence, and be able to be a character, not just like Hulk. Which I enjoyed the Hulk in Thor Ragnarok, but being able to have a character that's able to be fully a character and do a ton of other shit on top of that would be cool. Plus, we've never had a superhero procedural, a straight up like like Law and Order style.
She could go up against Daredevil in the courtroom.
She could. That we could even incorporate the Marvel Netflix stuff, which is so unfair because like they're muddying the waters where they'll like. I think one of the characters from Marvel's Agents of Shield like has an appearance or has like some web thing that like places her in the events of Infinity War, but then like they'll have the Marvel series, the Netflix series, reference the movies with like the incident and stuff, but it never goes back the other way where it has the movies ever like really that I've ever noticed drop anything that's like this blind guy in Hell's Kitchen, even a line or anything.
They did that a lot in the early seasons of Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. They did it with Thor. They did it with both Captain America movies.
They hint.
Well, yeah,
It was like a major thing.
It was a big thing because like
They talk about the incident or
the first
New York
Avengers,
incident.
the first Avengers movie was I think like one of the first episodes. They were actually like part of a cleanup crew, like picking up the Chitauri tech.
Yeah.
And then after that, it was like
Hydra.
that was the season I think when they were building into the sudden appearance of like Hydra, like being a thing now, and then right when the Avengers was occurring in like that cinematic universe, they had their kind of corresponding really big things, and I mean that was where Phil Coulson went after the Avengers movie. Is that
he's gonna be in the Nick Fury movie, I think. Or no, he's going to be in Captain Marvel.
Well, I wonder how that's going to be because I mean, well, I don't know how recent you've been watching that show, Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Captain Marvel's going to take place mainly in the 90s, so it's going to be him when he's
kind
like
of a
younger.
prequel thing. Okay,
Yeah.
I understand that. Okay, that makes more sense because I think like
So
there's
speaking
some
of
issues going on.
what Marvel's producing these days, I watched the Inhumans series on ABC. Oh boy.
No.
Do you have some thoughts?
Well, yeah, that's just an interesting little piece of media there because it's all over the board of hit and miss. Like, there are a lot of things that they try and do. I give them credit for actually having the balls to maybe include some of these characters or go some of these places or even include some of these powers or these things about the Inhumans. But that whole thing has been so muddied from what they originally like are in the comics to what they are in the MCU technically or like on the TV. But the show is kind of fun to watch where it's like I really like the character Black Bolt. I just love that comic book character. You know what his real name is in the comic books? Blackagar Boltagon.
Pretty badass.
That's such a comic book name. It just like
Blackagar?
sure. It's really
Where's he
cheesy.
from? Bulgaria?
No, he's
The
like
moon.
yeah, an Inhuman.
He's from the moon?
Yeah.
Their city of Atalan is like on the moon.
Yep.
But then they immediately like leave and spend the rest of it on Earth and like the character of Medusa, who's his wife, her whole thing is that she has really long hair and she can control it and it's really super strong.
And turn people to stone?
No.
No, not the Greek. Is it Greek? Or is it Greek or Roman?
Yeah.
Greeker?
Greek.
It's not like she just takes the inspiration of like being able to move her hair, but her hair is like super long and like bright orange and it's like kind of iconic for that character. First episode, they shave her head.
Yeah.
So she spends the rest of the season being somebody who, as a character, is yes kind of interesting, but has been neutered. Cannot do what she is known for doing as a comic book character. She is now just like a diet version of the character you wanted to see.
There's so many better DC women, I would say. I'm looking at a lot of these women on Marvel. I'm like, I could see them doing a sweet thing with Valkyrie, maybe.
Yeah.
Anything, but like, I'm like, did they have something going for Squirrel Girl? Did they have anything in the works for doing
I mean,
like?
maybe an animated thing, but please God, no.
Does she like put
She's a
bombs
joke.
inside of squirrels and
She's
throw
a-
them at people?
I don't know. She's just.
Does she like whip them like foxtails at people and they blow up?
All that I know is that the most I know about that character is I'm pretty sure that she's a joke, like
Squirrel girl.
But it's like take me seriously to a certain degree, but then also it's like Deadpool where I'm allowed to do things that sort of break the fourth wall and are outside of the norm of what I am as a character or who I am like in a comic book, and it's okay to do that. We'll just say that it's like wacky, and she's literally invincible from what I know. Like she cannot be beaten or defeated somehow. I don't know if
So
she
she
like
just
can't
has-
die or she like is invincible or what.
That doesn't make you badass though.
Yeah.
If you want to make a badass woman, like give her some struggles. Like if she knows that she's invincible, why the fuck would people want to read it?
Well, and it's like what's
It's like, oh, she's never gonna die. Why am I reading this? Just for the?
Yeah.
Is this a comedy now?
at least Deadpool like can actually be maimed. Like he can be
Well,
drawn
he has-
and quartered and stuff, and like yeah, he'll have to come back from that. But,
Well,
like,
I mean, he is like functionally immortal though. Like, I mean,
But
Yeah,
he's
but at
had
least
struggles in
there's
his past though.
stakes.
Like he's been through some tough shit that gave him the opportunity to be invincible.
What are
He-
we talking about?
Well, like I was looking at badass women and I'm like, Squirrel Girl. Do you think they'd make her a movie or comic?
they
or
probably would just-
television show.
Wasn't she the one that beat Thanos?
probably in some story, yeah, because she's Squirrel Girl and
Is she
she's just a character that they're like,
Is she just a married?
hey
suit,
guys,
or-
girls are
Yeah, I think
okay.
that's what
We're
we're
gonna
talking
do
about.
like I have no problem with the message of like more prominence for women in any role or anything like that. But I'm just like when you
automatically
make it,
everything's a boring character.
well, I think
being invulnerable to everything
If we're
and not
talking,
being
if
killed
we're talking
and-
Marvel, I think a Jean Grey like Phoenix Force era movie would be.
I think
really
they're-
awesome.
they're working on that.
They're working on. They're doing
is
a
that what
Phoenix
they're
movie.
doing?
It's filming right now.
Yeah.
I don't know enough about Marvel.
Neither do I. I just said Valkyrie because I think that'd be sweet. Seeing more of Valhalla and the fucking Valkyries kicking ass.
Yeah. that'd be
Once
Yeah.
Because that part in Justice League where all those Amazonian women were fighting over that cube, I was like, I'm down with this.
Yeah.
This is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, that part was pretty cool.
For
Can't deny
female
it.
superhero movies, though, I would like a good Catwoman movie, even though she's not really a superhero.
What about Marvel?
well, I'd be okay with that if
Don't
it
know
was like a
enough
heist
Marvel
movie.
characters. I mean,
If
I
she
could
like
name some X-Men. That I'd
Yeah,
like to see
yeah.
a movie
X-Men
of.
would work because that's all that's on here.
Well-
Mystique and
Well, no. How about I don't know how old she is in the Wolverine movie, but in
X-23.
oh hell
X-23 movie when she's like like 5
Growing up
years
X-23.
down the road. you
doesn't
know?
she have like claws in her toe?
Yeah,
her
she has
It's
like
badass.
yeah.
I mean,
I thought
she
just
could-
had the two.
She has two knuckles and
She has
two
two
feet.
knuckles. No, one in her foot.
Oh, she has one.
She has one that basically comes out like right in the middle.
Oh, you know what would be a good side one? Lady Sif. Now that the Warriors 3 have, kicked the bucket,
Yeah.
and Thor Ragnarok,
we didn't
having
even see
having
her at
how
all
how
in
she's handling
Ragnarok.
that I didn't like.
That was
Like
weird.
it was like you made her pretty kind of like at least like in the semi forefront in the second Thor movie, the Dark World, was it?
Yeah, it was.
Somebody else
Yeah.
want to play?
There was something like
Yeah,
that.
let's say does anybody else want to play
I'll
Thor?
play a hand.
No, but yeah, I mean, she's it. I think it would be a good way, because one, now that Thor Ragnarok has occurred, yes, we understand that Thor's stoically handling the destruction of Asgard, but how's everybody else doing it? Not everybody's the
Son of
progeny of Odin. She's yeah. I would like to see that. I think that would be a really good one.
And they could team up with the Valkyrie.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
Having
It's got to be the Valkyrie.
I mean, I'm into.
But it would be cool.
God of War right
I-
now. I'm playing
I
God of
think
War,
it'd be
so I'm into a lot of Norse mythology.
I think I was
Oh, yeah.
talking. I was talking with UTK about Ready Player One a while ago, and somebody else was present, and we talked about the scene at the end with like all the mechs and everything, and the Gundam.
Oh yeah, the eye ka-chow.
Yeah, like it is in there.
It is in there, but
It's
not
just
as
not
prominent.
as prominent
It
as
doesn't
it
make
is
the,
in the
the
trailer.
noise is what I remembered.
It
Yeah.
does make a noise, but it's not the noise.
Like I was listening for the iconic
Yeah.
It's not the iconic one. There is like a kind of like ka-chow noise, but it's not
There's
like
a-
the
I
iconic
wasn't
one.
listening for it, but did the Iron Giant, have any of that kind of like throaty, guttural?
I
Like,
think there's one where he's going into the lava. He's like,
okay. I thought that was kind of funny. They did the T2 thumb. That was pretty funny.
Here's the thing about that. I saw an article like the first or second week that movie came out, and like I saw so many articles about that movie that were like, guys, we need to talk about Ready Player One, and it was such a like not like, oh, I'm excited about this or this is cool. It's like we need to sit down and we need to have a discussion.
oh,
Everybody.
I think I know where you're going with this.
And they're just being so serious about it. It was so divisive. And the one thing that this person who was writing the review said is like, and I completely disagree with how they depicted the Iron Giant. The very first thing that he did was violent, and if they really knew that
that
character,
is so
it wouldn't be that way.
Somebody
And,
did they
not
piloting
understand
it.
that
That's-
they're
and when I
the-
watched the
argument's
movie,
invalid because of that.
exactly, I was like, did you even pay attention to what you're watching? Because this isn't a depiction of the character of the Iron
you just
Giant. Somebody's just
all
wearing
in on
that
one?
skin.
First time I thought Ash was bluffing.
God damn.
It's the same thing. Like, and they made
Well,
no
I
gripe
called
about the
bluff and I
scene
failed.
in with the spoiler. I don't with the whole Shining thing.
Yeah.
Tub Lady never swings an axe, but they didn't say anything about that in the article. That happens all over in fucking Ready Player One. There's
Yeah.
all kinds of stuff that doesn't happen in The Shining that happens in that sequence, and the person writing the review just gave it glowing praise and was like, "This is awesome, immaculate, the best piece." Like, and it's like choose your battles.
Yeah, there was never
No.
zombies dancing over a pit
Of
the gold room
whatever.
either.
Yeah.
Like you need to know how to communicate what you're trying to say. Like maybe
It's a video game
maybe
movie.
if it personally upset, like maybe say something about, I wasn't so excited about seeing a character that I relate with Peace being so violent, but it was cool in the movie. Say something like that.
Well, I
or
mean-
say, to be fair, it was being like piloted, or it was be just an avatar for somebody else. Like
It's
put that in there.
It's got to be. I mean, it's a generational thing. Like, all of us were old enough when you guys remember what Second Life was, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah. It is the full immersion equivalent of Second Life because it has,
Yeah.
just that full gambit of whatever you want to do. Like that's the closest comparison I drew to Ready Player One is like, okay, this is with VR headsets, this is Second Life. That's what it is.
Well, did you ever
And-
read the book?
It's VR chat. Yeah.
Ready Player One.
Yeah.
nudge
Part
it
of it.
away.
I didn't read the whole thing, but that's the other thing is I didn't understand. Like I got about halfway through it, and there's obvious differences between book and film, like anything ever.
Yeah.
And I saw no situation where somebody could validly say the book was better, and that argument in itself is
I think I like the
loaded.
book better than the movie.
That argument's
I
loaded
agree,
because
but it's honestly up to personal preference.
well,
They're two different beasts.
See, this is the thing. Look, I don't think that argument is valid just because you have to stick with something when you're
Yeah.
making a movie.
Oh yeah, they.
And in
retconned a lot of stuff.
books, in every scenario is personal interpretation. Yeah, sure, everybody's going to widely agree on certain topics in a book, but everybody has their own viewpoint because every person is not exactly the same.
Like-
and that's where you can get, the wildly differing viewpoints of how a scene should go, or
Yeah.
how this character was misrepresented in the movie versus how they were in the book. It's like, well, that's just you drawing comparisons from your own life and how you interpret that character, and theater of the mind in that case. It's just like your theater of the mind is
You're
different. than that.
projecting
Yeah,
onto that.
Yeah.
I just one thing about the Ready Player One movie that overall watching the movie does not bother me, but as a fact about the movie, being able to look back at it does bug me. Is I'm glad that they were able to get so much licensing and be able to include so many different characters. It really helps, because that's a huge part of the book. Is
Just
it's a
all in,
book.
Sean.
You don't have to get licensing
all
to
in.
depict anything. You can just reference whatever you want and get away with it.
They did. They referenced a lot of shit.
They
that I didn't
specifically
think they
say
would.
in the book, World of Warcraft, Azeroth, that is a full, fleshed out planet that you can walk around all of Azeroth. It's there. Same thing with Hoth. Same thing with fucking
Endor, the
and
Death
like
Star.
the
Ryza.
planet from
You can go
Blade
anywhere.
Runner. You can go anywhere. You can probably go to goddamn Toontown from Roger Rabbit. Like
But the first world you see in the movie is Minecraft world.
Minecraft world.
I thought that
they
was fun.
pan through it. Like I honestly don't mind it in the movie. Like I said,
But everybody's familiar with it, so it's like,
Right,
hey,
and,
but
and that's where that's
but they
that's
never
one of
go
the thing-
back to it. Is
Well,
that like it's just product placement because they have like at the end there's like 3 Master Chiefs in the big battle and like
But I mean, that in and of itself, if you constantly went back to the same like couple, 3, 4 elements, that would really betray the premise of the movie, where it's like you can go anywhere and do anything, but we're only focusing on 3 or 4 things in the movie.
But that's the thing though, in the very, very beginning when they're panning through all these different places, when he's talking about you can go anywhere, you can be anything.
rock climb with Batman.
They show you
Right.
like 3 or 4 distinct locations where it's like, okay, this like hub area that most players spend like their time just kind
Yeah.
of like when they're not doing something specific, they're like in this place where like the museum is, just like that general
archives,
area.
yeah.
There's Doom Planet, there's Minecraft World, and then there's like the place where they go for the dance, I guess. So like they only show you a few examples of like you can go anywhere, but then they like it's just weird to me that they'd never go back to Minecraft World, which is one of the places that like it would just even if he's like hopping around trying to find clues for the egg or something like that, and he's just like goes through a portal, ends up in Minecraft World, breaks a few blocks, or like has to do something, and he's like, all right, now we're going on to the next place. It's just weird that it's like we're telling you like we can take you anywhere. Here's one of the places we can take you. You
good
will
amount of
never
money
see it
there, Sean.
again.
Yeah.
You put the option on the table and then specifically tuck it under a napkin.
I look at that though. I look at that though from a game progression kind of standpoint, because it's a game. You know, like that's the whole point. Is like we're in a game, and you know the progress is being made. You know, like that was the whole sense of urgency. You know,
Yeah.
when you found the first key, then it's you know, like I'm sure through those last 5 years, that's why they said like, you know, that
Everybody
the
knew
museum
that there was a key.
yeah,
that's the
but
thing in the
they
book
they
that I was
spent
like,
years looking for it, and
But
nobody
nobody-
got any closer. And then interest was starting to get lost because I mean, let's face it, that's just human nature. People lose interest unless they're super dedicated.
Right.
Like the few people that still hunt for clues.
The
or-
IOI
Well, it was
people.
still,
The
it was still
IOI
like
people-
thousands of people looking for it, but it was like
Right,
That's all that
but it's
who were in that
supposedly a
race at the beginning was the
worldwide
IOI.
thing.
Okay, so the thing about that though is supposedly this Artemis chick that he meets in the movie, she grills him at one point on information about Halliday, the guy who created the Oasis and who arranged this whole thing.
I like him.
She-
I liked him in the movie.
She like stops and specifically asks him trivia about this guy, like super specific stuff.
What's his favorite multiplayer game?
Yeah, to the akin of like
What's his favorite map
what did he
variant?
want to put on his pizza? Like really, really, really esoteric specific stuff.
Favorite
Right.
game variant? Slappers only.
And
Go.
then
they
what's
said that in the movie. I was like,
and then the
it's a throwback,
fucking
it's a deep cut.
line that gives him the inspiration to go backwards
That's where I didn't
in
like
the thing.
Halliday because he chose his odd job.
She,
and
like-
slappers only.
Fucker, yeah.
Fucking cheater.
She had said that she'd
What a
watched that
bitch.
video before,
Jaws.
and she just never ever like got to that
Jaws
point
with a
or
golden
heard him
gun.
say that or was like, oh, he's
Paintball
being
mode.
super obvious about going backwards. Maybe I should, since she's such. And then the other time when she's like, wait, I never heard him say Kira
You
or all this stuff.
realize you got it straight, right?
It's just
Okay,
like
cool. I was gonna
He
say.
did the.
she's proclaiming to be like as good or better at him about knowing this stuff.
Good
but
tell
then
though, Sean.
I know, right?
has for all this time completely missed the clues that he then
why I only
later
play
picks up
poker
on. It's
against
just
AI.
weird that she's like,
Well, everybody has an aha moment, and sometimes people do like overlook shit. But that's also again, you're thinking about this one specific conversation recorded through this guy's entire life.
Yeah,
that's
and if-
transcribed in there.
if
Like,
people have been
just
searching
just
nonstop
thinking about
for
that
5
concept
years,
though.
somebody would have watched that video before.
Yeah,
him.
but that again, that's his whole life, trying to experience a person's whole all the way through adult life
And I'm-
in 5
I'm
years,
being
which is
s-
not.
And
you
that's,
can't
that's
compress
another
that.
thing in the movie
I'm
that
being
they didn't
super
convey.
because you're having
like,
yeah,
to be
but
honest,
that's what I'm
but-
saying is that you have to like in that kind of argument you would have to be basically in like
Ash get kicked out there.
Yeah, you got like vacuumed out.
Well,
but
he went
you'd
through
have
the
to be
portal, so he's
experiencing his life at like 5 times the normal speed, but then basically using that same amount of time to analyze stuff. Because I mean, that's just it's overthinking it. I think in the end, it's just it's like this guy hid clues in this, and it's like
it's just like, and I know I'm being super nitpicky. Like any person who had ever played a video game before, who had watched that video and heard him talk about like, we need to go backwards really, really fast, put the pedal to the metal. Yep, that's what we need to do in
Wink,
the
wink.
video. Any gamer would have been like, oh, okay, and just gone backwards. Like somebody would have done that within the first 10 races that happened.
Let's
with
try
that
everything.
race.
Let's not try to be
Some gamer would have wanted to cheat the system and just gone backwards.
Yeah.
Because that's what happens.
That's the
somebody
butthole.
purposely gets a game within the first week and only tries to break it or only tries to fuck over other people.
Every time I get a new Mario Kart, I go backwards in the track to look for like hidden paths and shit
Well,
that
yeah.
you don't see going forward.
I try to like
people
go
that do
behind the the starting
And
line.
I
and
know,
then
like I
go
said,
forward,
I'm
see if
being
I can
really
get another lap and just
Yeah.
cheat it.
Yeah, but I mean, people have dedicated whole YouTube channels.
And there's
to
like a
cinema
Oh, yeah.
sins.
oh yeah.
There
There was just like
stuff.
there was just like a moment in the race, especially where it was like, wait, his car can hover. How is this a problem?
Have a potential.
I don't know. It was just weird for me.
Yeah, there's a lot of. I saw. Did you see it with anybody in the theater that was really good at reacting to things?
No.
I saw it with my wife, and then there was somebody with their kid that probably dragged their parent to see it, and it was a mom. She was probably in her 50s. Every time like something came up on the screen, she's like, "Oh, there it is." And she'd like talk.
Oh,
the
they
whole
said
thing,
it.
and like my wife was next to her, and she
no.
said like everything's like, "Oh,
Goodbye,
that's
Sean."
it." Like just really asinine things like you don't need to
Oh,
say. Like,
no.
yeah, we all
Yes.
see the movie.
I got the flush.
You did. On the river.
And then this again, I'm in super nitpick mode right now.
Bam.
In the book,
Rip Philadelphia.
the Artemis chick is like,
She's a streamer. She's a Twitch streamer.
he doesn't meet her
They
physically.
do
Until the-
actually mention Twitch in there actually.
Yeah, they say,
At one
"What's this,
point.
what I watch your Twitch streams about it all the time."
Yeah,
That's
yeah. That's when he was first talking to when he first talked to Artemis and like talking about the Twitch streams. I was like, that's one thing I did like was
I
that they updated some of the references.
Yeah.
Like obviously, when was the book written? That was
2010, 2011.
Nine.
I wanna
Okay.
say.
Something like that.
so Overwatch wasn't there, and I'm sure a couple other things that were in the movie. I can't think of them specifically, but that first is
Doom.
New Doom.
Well,
yeah,
it's not
true.
Doom Planet as in New Doom
Voltron.
or any kind of Doom. It's
Right.
just like the general term of like Doom.
Voltron's been around forever, but
No, that's what in the movie. That was the planet
What?
oh yeah,
of Doom.
Yeah.
Was the one that they talk about in Voltron. That's where they had the big fight.
Yeah, it was.
That's where everybody fought and got like coins. Or something?
It wasn't specifically Doom Guy Doom Planet.
No, it was.
No,
it was.
I've already got a
Planet
potential flush again.
Fuck yeah.
Nice.
Oh.
I was for a second there. I was like, oh man, nice. Got
You
it.
already busted out 3 of them?
Yeah,
Jesus, Sean.
Last hand, three.
I've
of
been
all
watching.
of us went
Sean's
on
been just murking them. 1, 2, 3 in a row.
But
Well,
he-
okay, so like
Yeah. Okay.
He's the Pokey Master.
I am the Pokemon.
he doesn't in the book he doesn't meet
Last
Artemis
card?
physically
No,
until the
shit, I
like
got-
second to last page or something like that.
Yeah, like that's the last thing.
Yeah, like
and that was another thing that people didn't like. It was like, oh, this guy
He met
beats
her,
a
like,
game, and then
super
he like
early and-
he gets the girl, he wins the girl at the end.
Some people's argument about her being too hot that compared to what the book was saying was really weird to me. That seems
Well, that's
very
not what I'm saying.
pretentious.
It's
No.
just that,
I'm just
like,
saying you're saying
would
like
be-
They're
people's
picking out
arguments about
really
it.
weird things about
Like
it.
that, like yours are valid.
It's
you know,
weird
like
that
your
it's-
specific things about the concept of them not finding that out. Totally valid. I
Well, it's
understand
just
that.
weird to me that
But-
like in the movie, he meets this girl and she is like extremely attractive, and yes, she has like the birthmark and stuff. But why? Like, I really doubt that she would be that like bashful and shy and just like, no, you don't want to meet me. You'd be disappointed. And like,
I based that off of his interaction with her in the game. Like
Yeah.
he was so enamored with her and maybe that was just kind of like the her kind of realization, like, oh, people do actually just prefer that version of me.
Yeah, there's a really
You
fun
know?
part in the book where she kind of does have that get away from me, like distance herself from him, because like I want to focus on getting the egg, and he gets really depressed and he buys like a sex doll, and he like just spends like months and months having sex with a doll, and he like gets really shamed about it, and he talks about it like in the book. He's like, yeah, I got really shamed, and I just did what lonely men do. And I was like, what the fuck is this book?
Yep.
He's just having sex with a
There's
doll.
an entire portion of the book where he like sequesters himself in an apartment.
But then, like, he
and
comes
just,
up with this brilliant idea to, like, infiltrate IOI and, like, has this huge espionage scene where he, like,
it's
gets,
great.
like, a security key and he goes in, breaks in. He, like, gets so much debt that he gets put in one of those machines where he, has to work it off.
Well, they
I was like,
they,
that's
like,
such
they
a good
flipped
side
that
plot.
role into hers, but it was like inadvertent in that regard because
Yeah.
like she got caught,
Yeah.
and they bought her debt, which makes actually very scary real world comparisons nowadays as far as like buying debt. But that's besides the point.
In the book, it's like he purposefully got so much
Yeah.
debt accrued that he got put into this situation where he could use it against them in
He
the future
basically
to
got
like
himself on the inside.
instead of doing the
Yeah.
weird invocation of that orb at the
Yeah.
end, it was basically him just overwriting this code, shutting the thing
How did
down.
they do the orb in the book?
It was the same thing, really. It was like
Well,
still
was it
like
you had to do a
some-
phrase?
The only thing that
No.
was in the book was the cataclysm. And then what Wade did outside of the world was
Right.
dismantle that orb that goes over the castle.
yeah. He basically from the
That's
outside.
that's what it was.
The
Yeah,
only thing in
like-
the book that was the same as the movie was the cataclysm thing, that it does blow up everything, but then Wade
He
has
has
the
the
one life
quarter,
quarter that he
yeah.
won from Pac-Man, a perfect game of Pac-Man.
Perfect
not
game of Pac-Man, not a bet with a
the
librarian.
Butler,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which was cool. Like, he went off the beaten path. He found an Easter egg within the game that he was looking for, the main Easter egg. He's like, I got a free life.
But I thought it was cool in the movie how they did it too, where it was just a nonchalant thing. It was like, I bet you this. Oh, okay, I'll take you up on that. Where
Yeah, and he, like,
it wasn't
tried
even
to toss
a
it back to him.
big deal. Like, here is the quarter, and like it was just like, here you go.
Yeah.
I like
And,
that.
yeah, because he actually like flipped it back to him.
Yeah.
And then
I
he's like,
how
nope,
I was
bet's
just
a
like
bet.
a thing of like, no, like yeah.
Yeah, I dug that. That was really good.
The
I wanna get the movie, one, because I enjoyed it, but two, there's just so much going on at all times.
I think more people
Yeah.
should have
I
died.
just need
I think
to-
Daito or Shoto should have died. Whatever one was the older one. Like, in the book,
I was gonna say he actually died.
IOI,
gets
like,
bopped.
somebody...
both
From-
of them, I
kills
think
him.
actually.
No, just
well, the older one gets like
older
shot outside. He like dies outside of
off
like,
a balcony,
the
and then
house.
the other one...
And
the
then
other one...
like during the like big battle, the younger one.
Well, everybody gets fucked up, and then Wade's the only one left.
yeah.
Well,
At the very end, 'cause of the
like
cataclysm.
that's in the game.
But I-
Yeah, in
but
the
in
game,
real
but-
life.
But in the book, isn't it like in real life?
In real life, I don't
it's
think...
H, Artemis, and him that go to where Moro is, and they use his stuff at like his mansion to fight that last battle. I don't.
They
I don't
do.
Remember,
He does pick them up and
I don't
brings them
remember
to his
if,
mansion.
Like, Shoto and
that was a kind of funny movie adaptation where they had they really made it obvious he is corporate guy that does not game, and he has his password on his fucking computer
It is Boss Man
underneath his
69.
keyboard.
Boss Man with 5 instead of S. like
yeah.
69. He's,
Yep.
What a badass.
Yeah.
No
That's
X's?
fucking. That was
Haxor.
that made me laugh.
And then, having it all be fed to him, like, oh, I'd like to listen to Duran Duran and play
Yeah.
awesome video games.
I.
And then the shout out to the Ferris Bueller High School and the Breakfast Club High
Yeah.
School, but like doing the Ridgemont or the Fast Times High School, like,
Yeah.
he's tricking you. Fail. Like,
Yeah. It's a trick question.
So
It's like, oh.
as I might have felt at during like different points of that movie, as up and down as it may have been, I
I
can't.
have more
I almost,
like
like-
arguments with the people that have
Oh,
those
Sean,
nitpicky
throw that
things with
away.
the Iron Giant and the
I
things
mean,
that are like,
if he
oh, he
raises-
wins the girl at the end. I'm like, just
Yeah.
the movie is just a fun
it's free
romp.
now.
It's a
Just go ahead.
video game movie.
I can nitpick anything, but
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
just like the
Oh, I'm gonna fold.
amount of
Just check. I was gonna say
Pure-
check to him.
No.
elation and joy that I felt at watching a Gundam fight Mechagodzilla was just like,
But in the books, if
Okay.
the Leopardon and all those other ones showed up, that would have
Yeah.
been pretty badass too.
that would have, but I understand why
was
they
it
did.
was it Industrial Light and Magic that?
But how it happened,
Oh yeah,
Okay, I kind of
did all of it.
but like how it played out in the movie, where it's like, where is he? Where is he? Where is he? And then at the very last second, I don't care that it was the ship from Firefly, but it like popped in and he just jumped out and was like ready to go, Gundam in the air, and just they're going at it. And like,
Yeah, I like how it
me
kinda-
as a, I was like celebrating in my seat.
Yeah, that was a good scene. That was a really good.
Well,
scene.
having like the cool boosters on the back of the legs and stuff, like all that, they down to the smallest detail on those Gundams, like everything was perfect.
I think that must have been like some kind of new design that they have for Mechagodzilla or something like that, because it wasn't the like classic one. It was
Kiryu?
huh?
Kiryu? Mechagodzilla?
I don't know. It looked more like sleek and
Yeah.
dinosaur like rather than the upright sort of blocky Godzilla-esque type thing.
yeah, like
I liked it.
more polygon.
I didn't have anything
Godzilla.
wrong with it. It was just like, oh, okay. But because at first I thought that when it didn't look like the classic Mechagodzilla design, I was like, oh, are they just trying to get away with it? No, it wasn't that one.
no,
But, like,
Because that's even more upright.
because
than
that
this
yeah
one
that
was, but
that's
it was
like that's like Power Rangers, you know,
Zord.
yeah,
sort of Zord style.
The one in the movie was definitely like much
I
more
had
like
that Godzilla
like
designed
Zatoichi
like
Mechagodzilla.
Like
a-
almost Shin Godzilla style, like
Sort
more
of.
more
Mechagodzilla,
actual
sort of.
animalistic than
yeah,
than
yeah, just
mechanical.
like the tail was very sleek and not like it was. You could tell it was robotic, but it looked ergonomic in its design.
Yeah, because
kind
it was
of.
piloted by the guy.
But when I saw that it wasn't the classic design, I was like, oh, okay. Are they just having like a general Mechagodzilla type design and getting away with not having that character? But then they name dropped it, so I was like, oh, right on.
Yeah,
That's fine.
I know that the dude made a reference video where he breaks down all the video games that were referenced and all the I think he did a video games one and pop culture like movie one where he goes through all the games that are referenced in the movie specifically, and he talks about like, oh yeah, this one came out in this and made by this person. He just goes into detail, which was kind of interesting.
I
I
know-
hope he does that for like the bonus feature stuff.
Yeah, definitely. I know she had the motorcycle, but did she do the Akira slide?
No, she did something slightly similar to it.
No,
Yeah,
Wade
that's
tackled
it, that's
her.
it.
That's what he looked like in Ready Player One.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
It's-
you see
it's-
his head.
Oh, yeah, that's
his,
the-
with
yeah.
his jaw.
That's a
and, like,
screenshot.
how his neck kind of goes down. It looks
That's him
more-
guarding the Fort of Doom.
more like a.
That is like an original Mechagodzilla design.
Like Ash just
pretty-
pop
it's
back
pretty
in
cool.
and fucking Sam like beat him. Like, go, get out of here.
There, it
Also,
was,
Sam,
it
tuck in
wasn't
your
the.
tie. Come on, man.
They didn't do the like
Yeah.
straight up Akira slide, but they did do like something kind of similar to it. During the race, they're all going, and then like semi kind of like jackknifes across the road, and
I'll be perfectly
he
honest.
goes under it, and
I
so
would've
does
been-
she. She just like slides sideways under it.
Yeah,
she
did.
took some liberties with the Akira bike by putting like Hello Kitty stickers on it too.
So is that,
but
that's your nitpicking
they
right there.
did-
Like, how dare she?
Yeah, she put a bunch of shit on
They
there.
did do some like the little touches with that bike where like it landed and then like the little bit of green electricity coming off it and the sounds of the bike was like, oh yeah.
Yeah, it was really
That's
sweet.
good. That's good.
Yeah, I dug it. I mean, overall, like, I mean, you can't argue that the movie was just visual eye candy.
I liked
Like,
it. I
it
liked the
was-
soundtrack. I liked a lot of stuff in the movie. Goro
Just-
giving big hugs and stuff. That was great.
It was like honestly, it's something that I can get burnt out on pretty quickly because it's just because of the pop culture, the music, the video game, that everything references and the how busy it is visually. Like I could probably watch it every
Do it,
every
Sean.
once in a while.
I could maybe go back to it every
Yeah,
year.
why not?
maybe.
Yeah, like every year. but,
Usually, like what I do with Jurassic
game.
Park or Draws or anything Steven Spielberg makes, I just come back to it a year later and like this kind of holds up. This holds up.
But
I like
like-
Jurassic Park.
But like something like Scott Pilgrim, where it's also like got a very specific like visual look to it, and it's also like more
I was gonna
busy
say
than other stuff, and
you needed a 4 there, unfortunately.
it that's something that is on a slightly
Yep.
quieter level than this, but
GG.
still
Well, you
bursting
want-
with stuff to be like,
You lost a lot though.
you know,
Yep.
a lot to take in, kind of. But it's something that
Over sensory, like sensory overload.
Sensory overload.
not really. It's just there's a lot of stuff you can take in. Like he said, like you can watch it, the Ready Player One, over and over and over again, and just watch specific
Oh,
little
yeah, I do-
corners or
I do that
quadrants of
anyway.
the screen. And
I do that anyway. Like with
Yeah.
like, how do they do the lighting? How do they do the color
Well-
grading? How do they get the shining stuff down so perfectly?
That's
And like the copy of it that I watched wasn't great quality, but you could even tell in that they like specifically did something to make it look like 35 millimeter. Like I don't know.
Oh yeah, like
Yeah.
the film grain and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That'd been awesome. Like
cool.
if they go into detail, like in ILM, like yeah, we got everything down like perfectly. Like the maze was like shot for shot, like how they shot it in The Shining, where it was like at that low angle, like following the kid, and but like the
Well,
things I liked
when
in
when it came into the game or the movie, sorry,
Mm-hmm.
like isn't that same shot like in The Shining? Like coming in and there's the
Overlook?
foyer, like
Oh,
overlooking the
There's like a
stairs and everything like that.
similar type one.
Is
there's
it
a
very
similar
similar?
shot of that.
They definitely
room.
copied the elevator thing for sure.
The elevator one is the most like
Iconic.
direct,
Yeah.
like visual adaptation of the movie.
And the pan to the gold room was like when them coming down the hallway, and then just
Oh,
the camera
yeah.
panning into the gold room while they go through the door.
Is he
It's like
fleecing
how-
you?
Oh yeah, and then H gets
Yep.
caught up with, like and doesn't want to go in there.
Yeah, like that stuff. It would be fun to just see how they recreated that,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
and the bathtub stuff, like the hand.
Like when they went to the maze, I was like, are they gonna have a digital Jack Nicholson in here? Like I was really like ready for the uncanny valley to just like, hello, you've entered the uncanny valley as you're driving along, and like,
right.
oh,
The
But-
thing about the movie that kind of like left me thinking like, this was an interesting take on the book was when at the very end Wade has that interaction with Halliday saying like, "You're dead, right?" And Halliday's like, "Yep," and like, and you're not code. Codes can't have avatars.
well, he
Yeah.
just says like you're not an avatar. He's like, nope. He's like, what
It's
are
like-
you? And he's like, okay, bye.
Yeah, it's like an elusive like
That's
goodbye.
fine. That's
I'm like,
fine.
that's so open ended. I love that. Like you can
But they
just
don't
come up
make
with
it-
your own imagination. Like, what is this guy now?
But
he
they
like
never,
created
like-
sentient AI.
If they would have, they do a little something like that kind of in the book, I think, where it's like he asks him something, and he's like, "You're not like most avatars," and he's like, "Yeah, I know. I'm like, I uploaded like my entire consciousness, basically." What he says in the book, I'm pretty sure. But in the book, his avatar doesn't actually do anything to ever like
You need a
really
10.
overtly affect anything.
Right.
Morrow's does, where he like
Ogden is in there a lot. Like
kills
he's-
like the entire club of the
Yep.
Sixers and stuff. But like in the movie, it's good that they
almost flushed.
don't make Halliday's avatar like this overtly powerful. They don't make that important until he asks that question at the end. Because if it would have been this overlying thing of like another mystery on top of everything else that they end up not answering, it just would have been frustrating. But having that little moment
Try to
in there at
bait
the
him
end,
out a little bit
I
more.
felt was a lot more
Oh, way higher than that. Oh,
satisfying to even
I liked
include it in the
Halliday's
first
character
place.
way more than Wade. I didn't care about Wade
You know, it was
as
really-
a character in the movie. I'm like, Halliday's so funny. He's just like
I loved.
They made a joke about him like acting like Garth Algar from Wayne's World. Like,
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
just like, let's go backwards really fast.
I really liked when he was getting the last key from him, and he's like in the van, and he's actually getting
Yeah.
kicked around. He's
He's
like,
like, "Do you
don't-
want it or
do you-
not?"
yeah, do you want it or not? It's just like, just kind of like, you're the first one here. You want it? You know?
I know it wouldn't translate well visually, like from the book, but I was kind of hoping, like, and when I found out more about the movie, I was like, okay, they're not doing it, but I was really kind of hoping that they would do what they did for the first key in the book, where he goes through the Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
Like he goes through one of the classic scenarios and like.
He goes for
Yeah,
like, the
like
first cave, and then he has to like fight. Like what does he fight?
when he fights the Lich, like
Fights
at
a Lich
jousts,
at jousts,
like
yeah.
that
Yeah.
would not be visually interesting at all. Or him standing there and playing a perfect game of Pac-Man, like no, you would not want to do that in a movie.
But I
but-
would like to see them play out Monty Python or War Games, and he like gets like bonus points and like inflection.
The
and-
War Games
Hopefully-
thing I feel would have been good because I don't know. I mean, it would lend credence to the end meeting with Halliday. It's like you have war games, you have like if you're going like the actual movie kind of adaptation thing, it's like you got this AI and it's very obviously AI. But then you have Halliday at the end and it's like, wait, he's got like this, very complex interaction with Wade, and it's like, yeah, he is something different.
Yeah.
It's just like it would reinforce that end scene a lot better, I think. If they had war games in there.
Yeah.
That'd be really cool. Plus also war games is a cool game.
Yeah, I do. I have to go back and watch War Games again.
Hopefully,
Yeah.
I've never seen it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
I
man.
know about it. I've just never
It's
seen
pretty
it.
good. You should watch it. It's
hopefully
about
The only way
like-
to win is not to play.
Hopefully, though,
Would you like to play chess?
the idea for those movies was really, really cool in the books, and people were like, "Holy shit, I want this!" And now that the movies come out and it's gotten a little more wide exposure than the book did, I hope that some person out there, some crazy genius, is like, "Let's do it!" and just starts undertaking that thing. So in 10 years, I can put on a headset and be like, "All right, let's go into this movie. Let's do it."
Let's see how well I can
that'd
play
be
this
fun.
movie.
That'd
Like
be
you
really
playing
fun.
Jaws, you're like
I would never do that. I would die of a heart attack.
really.
I would die sitting where I am with that headset on of a heart attack if I was in that.
If you're
movie.
Richard Dreyfuss' character,
If I was
going down in the cage.
If I was any character, honestly, other than fucking Ellen.
All right,
because
you're the
she
guy
took-
at the very beginning that gets passed out on the beach.
I mean, I guess so, but that ends pretty quickly.
Yeah, you're like, I'm done now. Now I can just get to watch the movie.
That's
Yeah,
pretty
no, just get
bold
to watch
call
the
there.
movie. I'd be okay with being the shark.
Oh, there you go.
I'm starting to get bored.
Like that.
No, what if that turns into like a multiplayer game, where like
Oh,
you and your friends are playing,
Dude, that'd be fucking great. Having Bradshaw be Quint.
and then like you're just basically playing.
Indianapolis, sir, Mr. Hooper.
He'd modify that. He'd be like the USS Fangdanglis or
He
something.
wouldn't be able to. The game would be like, eh.
Yeah.
Incorrect
Yeah.
dialogue.
Dude, he wouldn't. If he tried that, he wouldn't make it 5 minutes in any movie.
If you played the Jaws movie VR experience with friends, that
No,
would
thanks.
be the funnest experience.
I've not been able.
blow up.
I've not been able to play. I know that you've played it a lot. Subnautica.
Yeah.
Deep ocean freaks me the fuck out.
Really?
Like, not in the sense of like Subnautica, because like you so very quickly can traverse it, and like the scale is definitely different.
And it's
there.
like the cartoony-ish kind of like design of everything helps with that.
I
Like
can't find it.
a really good example is with recently Sea of Thieves.
Mm-hmm.
When you're out in the middle of the ocean, you jump off the boat and you look down.
cresting waves and stuff, and just like
Oh, the I mean,
No, and you're in the
mind
water.
you, their whole game is based on water. So I would hope they put the most focus on the water, and they did, and it looks fucking incredible.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just saying, like when you go underwater and you look down, and there's just that expansive blue. Yeah.
So there's a movie that will be coming out. There's a trailer out for it right now called The Meg. It's based on a novel.
Yeah.
It stars Jason Statham, and it is in the vein of Jaws, where it's a shark movie, but it's about a megalodon.
Yeah.
And
The prehistoric shark.
the trailer looks like it'll be okay. It'll be like a fun. Like I think they're tongue in cheek enough about it with from what it seems that they'll be able to like do
Not
some
Sharknado.
No,
Well,
they'll do some scary stuff. They'll
like
do some
Deep
fun
Blue
stuff.
Sea.
There'll be some
It-
comedy, but it'll be like in the end just like a fun kind of like actiony movie.
It had me until it was like this overhead shot of this super crowded beach and this literal submarine-sized shark, like maybe 100 yards off from the beach, like swimming underneath people. I'm like, you would see that thing
That
a
thing would
ways
push
off.
you
Like,
okay.
yeah, sure, people don't want to open their eyes in, any water, but
Salt
there's
water, yeah.
there's at least in a beach like that big, there's at least one person with goggles underwater seeing this giant mass, and they
That
would
big
freak the fuck out.
Yeah.
Well,
I'd be like, okay.
Here's a couple things about it. In the book, the creepiest thing about the shark is that it's completely albino because it lives down in the Marianas Trench.
So it has
so
no
it
light.
has no pigment to its skin, basically, and it's completely white. So there are times in the book where it's the creepiest fucking thing in the world. It gives me the willies every time I read it. Where, like, there's like a signal that you can tell when the shark is coming, because it's so pale that when it does catch any light, it basically glows. So in dark water, if it even catches moonlight, you can see this thing coming like from miles down because it's so bright. You just see this like bright glow start to appear, and you're like, "Oh fuck!"
Right, and that shot was the middle of the fucking day, like on a crowded beach, and it's
but
like,
they don't really. I mean, in that they do it a little bit in the beginning with like the girl, and you see a little bit of the glow.
But the
spoilers here, if you care at all about this ridiculous story about a big shark.
From the book or
From book and probably from the movie.
Because I know in the
The
trailer
movie's
they
not
didn't
out
have it as albino. It was very obvious that it wasn't albino in a couple of those shots.
I didn't pay that close of attention.
Well, they had it where it was
Because
like
I didn't
it was the surfing swell, and it's like again there's this like set of like 5 people surfing this gnarly nar,
wall.
like getting shredded gnar.
Get pitted.
And-
So pitted.
And there's a backdrop of this giant billboard, sideways building-sized whale of a creature. Then suddenly, oh God, how did I not see this? Crunch.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't. It was implied, but it's just like.
Here's how things end with that in the book.
Ooh, yeah, definitely spoiler then.
Yes. So, spoiler if you care.
This is the Meg book.
This is the book. It's how it could play out in the movie, but they could also do something completely different.
Timestamp it and put a giant megalodon on the front of or in the middle of the video.
Spoilers
Dude,
with the shark fin.
the spoiler shark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spoiler Finn.
Spoiler. The spoiler.
The spoilers.
So, in the book, the character that's played by Jason Statham, the main character, goes in, like, the shark has just been messing stuff up all over the world. Like, the ecosystem, entire fleets have gone down trying to take this thing out. Like, it's
An
just
asshole.
a bad turn at like every opportunity for anybody that's not that damn shark. So at the very end, he gets in this little one-man submersible, drives it down the thing's throat, lodges it like in its esophagus, climbs out of it, takes a big old Bowie knife, just starts cutting into it because he knows the anatomy of sharks to where its heart would be, cuts the thing's heart out of like, just disconnects it from the rest of its body.
The megalodon's heart's probably like the size of a SUV or something.
Yeah.
And is he in like the books like a marine biologist Rambo?
No, he's just pissed off at that point, and he's like, "Fuck this thing! I'm either
What?
gonna die trying or die trying."
That's pretty cool. Jumping inside a shark.
yeah.
And he like just cuts the shit out of its heart and like just disconnects it from its body, and then climbs his way, like just cuts his way out of it and just swims
Well, is it
back
on
up
the
to the surface.
Okay, I was like, where is this
Pretty
megalodon?
badass.
Is like, I mean, yeah, that's not. That makes
It's
for a
down
cool.
like in the scenario
Only Statham.
of the book. It's like
Yeah.
way down, and so you can like see its glow and stuff, and it's coming up, and it's about to like attack people up here. So he's like up here, and he's like, "Oh shit!"
Put
Gets in
that
the
gun away,
submersible, and it's
Sam.
like a one-man super quick kind of thing. It's like been
okay.
developed in like during the events of the book. So
Okay.
it goes and takes it down, just like right down its mouth.
I gotcha. Okay,
It makes sense when it's playing out in.
right. I mean, mind you, then it'd be like, well, actually, he'd have decompression sickness if he rose from Africa.
Right.
It's just like stupid shit like that. But like
fuck
every
Sam.
movie ever, suspension of belief needs to happen for you to even enjoy the movie, in my opinion. Like some people enjoy movies that are super scientifically accurate, like the people that loved Interstellar.
Yeah.
Nobody's seen with their own eyes a black hole as far as I'm aware. And they just, heavily researched how black holes might look. And,
And then it gets into theoretical physics, right?
yeah, it just gets into theoretical physics far outside of my wheelhouse, but visually it looked stunning, and yeah, I'm excited for it. I'll admit. There's also the what's the one that it's Mr. The Rock Johnson. He's in Dubai at like the world's tallest like skyscraper.
It's called Skyscraper.
It's skyscraper. Yeah, just skyscraper.
But he has a bum leg or something?
He had a prosthetic leg.
Prosthetic, yeah. He had a prosthetic.
Yeah. Did that feel like Die Hard to you? kind of like tall building, guy who's not supposed to be there. I mean, in his case, I assume he is because he's like a security consultant or something like that.
Yeah.
But it gets raided, and it's like, wait, there's actually something valuable here, and then it's like now like a 1,100 story hostage situation, thing.
Why isn't he a superhero yet? Why isn't he being a superhero?
Because he needs to have his presidential career first.
He is going to be, as far as I know, this was talked about. I mean, if it's changed, that's a really big disappointment. He, from the last thing I heard, he was cast as Black Adam, the Shazam villain, and that he is rumored to be the next villain in the next Superman movie.
I could see a Black Adam. I could see that.
He'd make a great Black Adam. Physically and how he looks, he would make
his
that
Samoan
character.
background definitely could look, they do
Egyptian-ish.
a little Egyptian.
Well, he's
I
already
see that.
played Egyptian type characters,
That's
as we know.
Fucking
As we
Scorpion
know.
King, yeah, dude.
Yeah, CGI Scorpion.
Oh,
Well,
my
and it's
gosh.
funny. He came over the other day, and I just had Highlander on, just because
Yeah.
There can be only one.
Sometimes
There can
you see
be
a
only
movie,
one.
and there can be only one that you need to watch at that moment.
Highlander.
And I forgot. I remember Sean Connery's character is supposed to have a Spaniard, tie or background.
Well, yeah.
But in the movie, he says he's Egyptian.
Yep.
But he's he grew up in he's Egyptian, born his race. But he grew up in Spain, or he spends most of his time in Spain. So it's a man that talks like this, who's Egyptian, but also from Spain.
I praise
just
I walked in the days of the
What?
pharaohs.
What are you talking about, you snaggle pussy?
Yeah. The Spanish Inquisition was really something to see.
I really think
Wait
you're
till
all...
I tell you about the conquistadors and Cortez's gold.
What are you prepared to do?
The Kurgan.
There can only be
He
one.
will come for you.
The Kurgan. He is the ultimate warrior.
He's the worst of us all.
He is the finest warrior ever. And he
Oh, Jesus. Are you...
you got a flush? There you go.
He has a full house.
Yeah.
You got a flush.
Yeah.
Flushy boy, flush down the
Oh,
toilet.
my God.
Yeah.
That was
That's
the
unfortunate.
most...
That's really unfortunate.
I had the flush from,
did
beginning.
you go all in?
That's the same.
I
with
had no
Sean.
other choice.
Oh,
It was either fold or go all in. This happens to me all the time.
All right, here. I'll go. I'll do an all in. We'll see if it's
Avenge me.
player specific.
Sean did an all in and he didn't.
No, it just
No, he
happened-
lost right away.
Yeah.
He
It just
lost
happens
that
to
one.
me where
But then he
they
busted
put
3.
me in the situation where it's like, hey fucker, you either play
Yeah.
the game or you go home.
Yeah, and there's no. I mean, obviously you can't see. You said you saw the tells. What was Brock's tell?
I looked them up. There's
like how obscure is it? Are we talking like
they are obscure.
He like right there when he turned his head.
So
is that
him
it?
looking at him.
Nothing in there.
I'm looking. Oh, he just looked straight.
No,
at
he
me.
didn't do anything. Sometimes they do nothing.
Okay.
Oh, he shrugged his shoulders.
Sometimes they have
He shrugged.
one of their tells.
All right, we'll just go all in.
It's like playing LA Noir. It's like, are you lying?
It's so easy. In LAR, when the guy's literally doing a face like that, and you need to find the exact face I'm talking about of the bald old man where he's
looking old guy.
Yeah.
Are you telling the truth?
Yeah, there you go.
Are
just-
you?
down in the corner? You just gotta get in this video.
Keep him around for a little bit, just because that man's
Just that
so
face.
enjoyable
just
to look
you
at.
don't
slow
know.
zoom to that guy's face because it's
you don't know
That
if
is
he's
the-
lying or not.
That's the face of
a doubtful man.
that to me is the face of. It is one day past the expiration date on something,
And you're smelling it.
but it's the only ingredient that you're missing for a recipe or something. So you're just like, you're trying to gauge to yourself
it's like
how
one,
bad the consequences might
It's
be.
his best Robert De Niro impression. That guy.
It's
It
like-
really yes. It
it's
is his
one
best Robert De
one
Niro.
half disgust, 1/4 temptation, and 1/4
Get off my porch.
I love the situation that he's in the game too, because they're questioning him about
A car.
this consulate car, and
Yeah.
he's talking about
Oh, yeah.
Mexicans, they're talking
No,
Hispanic.
they didn't steal nothing.
They didn't.
yeah,
I didn't see nothing.
Didn't see nothing.
It's like you can almost
It's
hear
like, are you sure?
He's an attraction at Disneyland, and you can hear the little gears in his face turning as it just.
Yep.
No,
He's on the Pirates of the Caribbean.
And Cole Phelps is just standing there, like pencil to the lips, holding the little notebook, like.
The
man might be telling
outtakes
the
for
truth.
that are fucking hilarious.
Oh yes, where
The
they're
what?
like going like that.
They do the outtakes.
The outtakes, yeah.
Yeah, they're
Uncanny
like,
Valley shit. Just,
Yeah, they're just like you see like the wow, ooh, like they're doing
Yeah,
like
bah, bah,
the
bah.
model's face. Is just
I'm the Irish
doing it.
captain on this police force.
Because it like I think they only did the mocap for the face.
The
They
heads.
didn't do anything with the body itself.
That's why it
so
looks
it's
so
going through the
Barbie doll.
motions, but then you see the head like turn sideways, and it's just like.
It's like when back in the day when Shrek first came out.
What
That
are you
was,
doing in my
Like
store?
watching that like visually was just like, wow, we've come a long way. And
Yeah.
then they had the like CGI outtakes where the things went wrong, and you're like, this is goddamn horrifying.
Yeah, where Fiona's just eyeballs and hair, and she's like,
It's even
That
more
was,
so now going back and watching it.
Brave.
It seems like
was it?
Yeah, that was in Brave.
I think it was in.
It was in
Shrek
Brave.
also.
It was in Brave because she was T-posing, and then like her face was gone except for her eyes and her hair.
I know Fiona
It
had one
was
with like
just-
her dress is like up on her face or something, and it's just
there's
a
one
wacky
where
dress.
the
is
like
not-
different polygons
there's
of
one where
Donkey's face
Donkey
just go like
looked like-
300 directions at once.
Yeah,
his fur
Donkey
and
was a
his
big
fur got
furry
screwed
guy.
up.
Yeah, he's a
Oh. You know, it just came out 51 minutes ago. As of this video, the official Venom trailer.
Oh.
with Thomas Hardis.
Thomas Softy, yes.
Should we watch that real quick?
Well, how long have we been going for?
About an hour and a
hour
half,
or
is
so?
it actually? It's been a while.
Yeah,
Is
we
it?
should-
This
we
is
should
this
wrap
is
this
the
up.
thing on it.
You
doesn't
can
it?
look, see how many recordings there are. There's a number.
Take it easy on the folks' ears at home.
Okay, so I was looking. Okay.
Well, there's. We've been going for 40 minutes plus 21.
Okay, an hour is a good one. That's a solid amount of content.
Well,
I mean, well, that's not for us to decide, I suppose.
ah,
I'm just saying.
it's up to Mr. Editor, man,
Yeah.
Mr. Manager.
It's going through the whole. I'm gonna do the whole thing.
Just stitch them together, all up at once.
Alrighty, well,
People put in hour-long videos. Why not us?
Yeah, I'm putting in a 3-hour God of War session on YouTube right now.
God,
I
that
think
game
it was. I think it was.
That game just looks great.
yeah.
It's pretty. There's a lot.
Boy.
I
Yeah,
saw
I'm,
somebody put Boy of War.
I'm watching Jacksepticeye play it right now, and that's a lot of fun.
That picture of Hank
Boy.
and Bobby. Boy.
Boy.
That,
God dang it,
that boy ain't right. He doesn't know his nature. I'd like to keep things from him.
We
if
got
I
a
could.
dang it, Odin. God dang it.
I hate the gods, I tell you what.
Could you imagine Balder having a fight with Balder, but his Boomhauer?
Boom-
Oh, I was
Yeah,
just going to
yeah,
say,
yeah,
boy,
yeah.
dang on.
God dang old man.
Dang on, I can't feel anything, man.
You will do it. Who would,
Dang on,
who
welcome
would,
to Skyrim.
would Dale? Oh yeah, Dale would totally be Mimir.
Probably.
You'd be because he would talk
Yeah,
about
he'd be like,
he'd be talking about fucking conspiracies. That's the knowledge that he knows.
that's
He's,
Mimir's.
I'm the
That's his
smartest
MO. He's
man
like,
alive.
I know everything.
Oh my god! And like that's the condition where he like
Cut off my head, Hank.
cut off my head. It's okay. I'm part robot. I'll survive.
Ha-cha-cha.
Ha-cha-cha-cha. And then he has you tie a fucking pack of smokes on the side of his face.
You just constantly like light up a cigarette and then put it behind you and have him take a puff, and you're just like, all right,
Oh my god. Oh
light me up, Hank.
god.
Light me up, Hank.
Dogs.
Yeah. Where are my smokes?
What would Bill be?
Oh god.
Bill
who
would probably
would
be
Bill
like a Thor, maybe.
one of Thor's sons.
Maybe a Thor son.
Nope. Bill's the world serpent.
The world's
He's that massive. He's just like laying on his side, and he just like snakes it up, and he's like,
yeah. And then every 10th word,
Lenore, that's it. Okay, what about Cotton?
And every
Cotton
time
is Thor. Or
no,
Odin.
Cotton's
Odin.
one of the dwarves.
No, it
Cotton,
should be Odin.
Cotton's got to be
Cotton
one of
would
the
be
dwarves.
Tyr, man. It would be the god of war.
Maybe.
Well, yeah, but he doesn't appear in the movie enough to be God of War. You got to have some cotton interactions. But what would really be funny is when your axe gets done and Bobby's just like, silver piping. Just
Don't touch my dad.
I don't know you.
Yeah, and then like instead of Spartan rage, it's propane rage or something like that.
Huffs propane.
That's my quiver. I don't know
Yeah, just ball.
Ball.
It's too bad none of us are like animators.
I know.
Oh, this would be a hot mess, but it'd be so great.
It would be awesome. I think we'll call it there. I think that's a good place to end.
That's a high note right
King
there.
of the Hill tirade.
Yeah. Just the cross.
You gotta end it with the King of the Hill theme.
Okay.
Now.
All right, well they're gonna play us out.
Yep, here we go. And it's playing.
We'll be in the alley cracking beers.
Cracking beers.
Taking
Taking the trash out.
Yeah, dang on there, easier.
Later, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.